Welcome to Right on the Money, the weekly talk show with interviews you can use to help you maximize your money and optimize your financial future. Before moving forward with any of the ideas discussed on the show, always consult your financial advisor, insurance professional, or tax consultant. Looking for financial help or a second opinion? We can help you in your search. And now, your host of Right on the Money, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator, Steve Savant.
Well, welcome back to Right on the Money, and we're talking about America's #1 retirement program, our plan, national plan, Social Security. Tom, we're talking about this, and when I think about this, I've been a syndicated columnist now for about maybe really syndicated, about 6-7 years. I've been sitting there doing color commentating. We do not understand our own retirement plan. And I want to talk about the earnings qualification, the requirements, because I think we need to walk through this, because if we don't do this, we're hurting ourselves.
Right, and so we'll talk about the earnings qualifications, and then there's this earnings test where they can take back some of your benefits. So
we'll take it back.
Oh yeah, they can take it back. So we'll talk about that. So Look, to qualify, and we've kind of gone over this a little bit, but let's just review it. Both you and your employer pay in 6.2% up to the first $118,000 of your income, all right? You also each pay 1.45% unlimited towards Medicare.
Hey, if you're a single employer, you're doing both.
Right, and I'm self-employed. I'm doing both sides of that, and that's a lot of money.
If you think the rate of return is bad for a W-2 employee, what about self-employed?
Yeah, and they don't give the self-employed any type of credit for that either. There should be some deduction on the rest of the taxes.
So then you only get the single side of that equation.
It just adds it on, and so it's very tough for small businesses. Look, to become eligible, you have to pay in for 40 quarters, so basically 10 years. Once you do that, they're going to look at the average of your highest 35 years. And as we talked about in an earlier segment, if you want to retire early and you only paid in for 25 years, the other 10 years are going to be credited with zeros. Do you really want to have that in your Social Security record? Or maybe the first 5 years that you have 35 years, but the first 5 years you were a part-time employee, or you were a busboy or a waitress. Now you've got a high-paying job. Maybe you want to have 5 more years of your high-paying job to bump off the 5 years so that you get 35 good years.
Okay. So the minimum, if I'm understanding, is 10 years or 40 quarters.
Yep.
Okay. So most of us have worked way more than that.
Right.
Okay. So they're still going to take the best, 35?
Best 35 years.
Quarters, 35 years,
yes,
not quarters.
Years.
35 years. So let's say the average American, I'm thinking I'm in my 30. Well, I can't really talk. I'm talking about all the way back to my 20s, right? We're talking. So
or even your teens, if you're working at a restaurant and you're mopping floors like I was, or
Social Security coming out.
Yep, those counted. But what you want to do is you want to get those years off, and you want to have 35 pretty good years of when you were making money.
So your big earning years is what you're really trying to maximize. And I've heard you talk about this before. If you think you're a little short, working that extra 5 years just before you retire could really be huge.
I talk about in the book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Just working a few extra years can increase your success in retirement by over 50%. You have increased earnings, increased savings, increased Social Security benefits, and decreased spending, so it can have a huge impact on your overall retirement.
That's a huge issue. Well, walk us through some of the additional issues here.
Well, look, there's an earnings test. Now, this is different. This is when you retire, okay? And this is how the government can take your Social Security benefits back. So let me kind of start from the top and go down. Okay. If you retire, if you start drawing Social Security at your full retirement age, which right now is age 66, and for younger people it's 67. That's what's called the full retirement age. If you take your Social Security benefits at your full retirement age or later, there's no penalty. So you get to keep all your earnings at your job, and you get to keep all your Social Security benefits, all right? However, if you take your Social Security early, like let's say you take it at 62, and you've got a job where you're making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and you're still taking your Social Security, well, you're going to give up $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above $15,720. And then because it's a government, just to make it really complicated, in the year that you turn your full retirement age, so in the year, like if you were turning 66 this year, but maybe in December of this year, of this next year, then in that whole year, you would give up $1 in benefits for every $3 earned above $41,880. So it's a little complicated. The basic rule is this. If you're making some pretty decent money, you probably don't want to take your Social Security benefit early. Wait till your full retirement age or later. Now, worst case is you took it early, you're making good money, they're taking all this money back. Here's the good news. The money's not lost. Okay, it's not gone. They'll add it back into your future Social Security calculations. So your future Social Security calculations will actually go up.
Okay, so if I want to make sure I understand
Yep.
this, they're taking it away. They're looking at your wages.
Yep.
They're causing an issue with your provisional income test for Social Security, but they're actually crediting it back in future. In the future,
they will credit it back. But
Okay,
now
so you're not
let's be
ultimately
clear
losing.
of what
Yeah.
counts as income, because look, in our next section we're going to talk about taxation, and that's a whole nother animal. And people get them mixed up all the time. People mix up the earnings test with the taxation all the time. This is earnings. Earnings mean like work income. So, what counts? It's your salary, it's your hourly pay, it's your bonus, it's your commissions, it's your severance pay, it's your employees' contributions to a pension or retirement plan. That is earnings, all right? What does not count is investment income, capital gains, annuity income, pension income, government. So it's earned income that counts. It's not all of these other things, all right? Limited partnership income doesn't count. Interest received from a loan, dividend income. So any of that investment type income does not count. It will count towards the taxation, but it does not count towards the earnings test. So a lot of people get confused. But then again, the good news is the benefits are not actually lost. They're merely deferred.
Okay, I just want to make sure, though, if you go back again, I just want to make sure we're talking to the same thing, and that our viewers, again, if you're listening to the show, you can hop out to our site and actually watch this. We're showing this up on our screen. When I'm looking at the basics of the things that cause income, I have to understand what that is and what doesn't. And I like the investment. You had the investment. You had annuities on there. I didn't. Is that true?
Right.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. So once I understand what causes I'm losing. You keep telling me I'm losing it, but I get it back. But I got to look at these two areas so that I can understand how to really plan for this.
Earned income counts. Other income from investments, capital gains, annuities, pension, government pensions, limited partnerships, all those other things don't count for this. They will count for taxation, but they don't count for this.
And I can't underscore what Tommy just said, because all the time we get calls from consumers that say, Steve, you guys said it didn't count. I said, yes, for the earnings test. But remember, almost every bit of income, and I can't think of too many, there are a few exceptions to the rule, but all of it's going to fall in the provisional income test. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Okay, so now I know what counts and what doesn't count. I've now prepared to figure out the math. Should I take it at 62? I'm going to try to delay, as you suggested. There could be reasons why I have to take it. Short lifespan, maybe that's my
Okay,
family.
but let's talk about that for a minute, because let's say you got a husband and wife. Let's say the husband made more money than the wife, and the husband's in bad health. Well, he's going to think he should take it early. I would advise that husband not to take it early. You know why? Because his check covers both lives. So you got to look at the life expectancy of the two of them. Just because one person has bad health does not mean that person should take theirs early if they're the breadwinner.
Okay, now I want to go back to another segment piece here that you just started, and just kind of reminded me of something. So if I have a 65-year-old male living to 86, and I have a 65-year-old female living to 89. You said, but if they're married, one of those could live to 93.
50% of them, one of them's going to live to 93.
Let's go back, because let's put the two pieces together. Now, that tells me that marriage somehow has some kind of longevity to it. It's actually adding years. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know why, but that's a fact. So, like, the life expectancy of a man who's 65 is age 86. Of a woman, it's age 89. And of a couple, it's 93. But let's understand what life expectancy is. That doesn't mean when everybody dies. That's only when half the people die. Half the people live longer than that. That's what life expectancy is, not an average. Life expectancy is a midpoint. That's only when half the people die. The other half the people live longer than that. So, I mean, people are living a long time. And with medical technology, it's going to keep increasing.
Well, that's why I think it's very important. What you said was, hey, listen, maybe father in the equation has issues and he's not going to live long, but really his wife is the one that's really going to live long.
Right.
And that's why we have to try to protect her benefit as best we can.
And since he made more money, is the survivor benefit. He should wait, even if he's in bad health.
I'm thinking back to a couple segments back when you said Ida actually lived. She got her first check at
Fuller. Yep.
She got her first check at 65.
Yep.
She lived to age 100.
Yep.
Right? And nobody expected that back in the day.
Nope. And she'd paid in $24.75, and she took out over $22,000.
And remember, the Guinness Book of World Records. Oh, well, when I think about it, I'm thinking, I was born in the wrong generation.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about, your Guinness Book of World Records. That gal from France lived to 122 years, 164 days. We're going to see, they said on, I think it was Time or Newsweek said, a person that's born today, somebody's going to live to be 142, and that person's born already.
142, and it's in the cover of Time magazine.
Wow. Well, remember, if you're listening to our show on radio, iTunes, or podcast, you can view the video version online at rightonthemoneyshow.com and request the information from this segment. In our fifth segment, we're going to talk about the taxation of Social Security benefits with Tom Hagner. We'll be right back.
For more information on this week's money topics, just go to our website at www.rightonthemoneyshow.com and follow Steve's daily postings on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. When it comes to retirement, money management, small business, insurance coverage, college funding, or budgeting, we have the interviews you can use.